Well, hey everyone, and welcome to Youth Online. Now, as you can see, we've changed things up a bit this week from our just having Zoom. We've got something a little bit special in store for you today as we hang out together on this kind of Youth Online, on the Church Online platform. We're going to do some things that we've really been missing from our time when we had youth group all together. I've really been missing them, and I'm sure you have too. So we'll be able to sing together, we'll hear from God's word, and we'll think about it a bit. And then afterwards, we're going to jump into our Zoom small groups. So what's coming up first? Let's have a look. Well, this term, we've been looking at what it means to be a child of God. And I hope you've had time to kind of reflect on that as life slowed down a little bit and think through what it means for you to be a child of God. There's been all sorts of truths we've looked through each single week as we've thought about that. Last week we looked at the fact that heaven is our home. See, this place where we are now, earth, it is our home for now, but it's not our home forever when we're children of God. And that's kind of really great news, because heaven's going to be this amazing place where we get to spend eternity with God, and there's not going to be any of the sufferings and the pains that are around us now. And this week we're looking at the fact that every single day is one day nearer. Every day is one day nearer to getting to our final home, one day nearer to our real forever home. And it kind of reminds me of a countdown, counting down to something that you're really, really excited to. Something that you've kind of been putting off for ages, or that has been coming up for ages in the distance. Maybe it's been a holiday, maybe it's been finishing school, maybe you're counting down for that right now. I've been counting down to kind of the end of coronavirus and being able to get back together and hang out. And hopefully I'm going to have some really good news about getting back in person for you coming soon. But hold your horses on that. One of the things I've missed most about spending time together with you has been singing. We haven't really been able to do that on Zoom because it kind of doesn't line up. We tried singing Happy Birthday last week and it really was just a hot mess. So this week we've got some songs ready for us that Harrison and Hugo sang and recorded for us this week, so we can sing along. So wherever you are, whether you're in your bed or at your desk or in your family room, it'd be great if you could sing along or even just hum along, because I've missed singing with you, and so I'd love to, even though I can't hear you, I'd love to do a bit of that singing with you right now. So why don't you join in?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Who breaks the power of sin and darkness, whose love is mighty and so much stronger, the King of glory, the King above all kings, who shakes the whole earth with holy thunder and leaves us breathless in awe and wonder, the King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You lay down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Who brings out chaos back into order, who makes the orphan a son and daughter, the King of glory, the King above all kings, who rules the nations with truth and justice, shines like the sun in all of its brilliance, the King of glory, This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You lay down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain, worthy, worthy, worthy. This is amazing grace, this is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You lay down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me.
Well, thanks for singing along, and thank you to Harrison and Hugo for putting that song together for us so we can join in and worship our God. Now, I want to ask you, what is something that you're looking forward to? Or maybe something that you've been looking forward to in the past? Just kind of think it up in your head. What was something that you really counted down the days to and you got excited about, and as it drew nearer, you could feel that anticipation of it coming? I'm not sure what it is for you, but we've asked some of your leaders what they've been excited for and what they've counted down to. So let's take a look at some of their answers.
Something I'm excited for and counting down towards, actually currently, is mine and Kate's baby, which is due in November. You can see behind me we've been setting up our nursery, and along the way feeling lots of anticipation combined with a little bit of nerves as well.
So when I was 15, I went on a 2-month exchange to France, and I remember being so excited for that trip. Like, I'd been looking forward to it all year and trying to improve my French and find out all that I could about what I wanted to do in France and everything. And it was an amazing experience. I got to live like a French person for 2 months and improve my French and eat a lot of bread, croissants, crepes, Nutella. It was great. But the real countdown came while I was in France, and I remember just like three weeks to the end, just being so ready to come home. I was seeing all my friends in Sydney who were on summer holidays, going surfing and just hanging out every day, whilst I had to go to school in my holidays. And it was like minus 20 degrees every day. I would walk to the school in the snow, trying not to slip, and it would be dark when I got up to go and walk, and it would be dark by the time I was coming out of school in the afternoon. So I never saw the sun, and for Northern Beaches people, that's a really hard thing to deal with. But I just remember being so excited to come home. Like, I got the countdown app on my phone. I was always thinking and daydreaming about what I was going to do when I got home to make the most of the rest of my summer holidays, like get up and go surfing and do all the things that I love doing. So I was really excited to just have my normal life back. But at the same time, it was like kind of mixed emotions because I really wanted to make the most of my time there. And get the most out of it. And I kind of felt bad that I was like wishing the experience away. So it was a bit of a conflict with that, and even though it was hard, there was still a lot of things to enjoy about it. I do remember just anticipating the return, and when I would get home to my normal life, and just be able to enjoy summer in Sydney.
So one time where I was counting down to something was when I was, I would have been about 12 years old, and we were going on a family trip to Margaret River over in WA. And I remember just counting down the days where we would leave and go away, and I was just so excited, particularly the night before. I couldn't get to sleep, and one of the reasons why was just because we were going to the airport, and me and my sister, we loved getting the idea of getting on a plane and flying somewhere, and the airport kind of just really sums that up. And so, yeah, we were just feeling these massive feelings of excitement and eager anticipation as to what we would experience when we went away. So, yeah.
The time when I had to count down right before the final moments was actually when I was back in Uganda, in Africa, in 2017. And me and James Boy, a friend of mine, we'd been over there for around 2 months, and we were so keen to get home. We loved Africa, we loved being there. But in that final week, we were literally counting down the days as we thought about, man, we're going to be back in Australia in 7 days. And I can remember finally that last week, we were on a safari, but we were so keen to get back. 3 days, 2 day, 1 day. And then when we arrived at the airport, there was just this sense of anticipation and excitement and just amazement. And then finally, when we actually rocked up in Sydney Airport, just feeling the tarmac under our feet, feeling the flat ground, it was one of the weirdest experiences in my whole life. But we're finally back in Australia. So that's one example of a countdown I experienced.
Okay, so something that I had been looking forward to for a really, really long time was going away to Europe when school finished. I'd seen my brother go away and do it. I'd seen friends and family that I knew had gone away and done it. So I decided that, yeah, this is what I want to do. I really want to do this. So school finished, I started working, I started saving up for like 6 months, and then the day finally arrived when I was going to go. And it was so surreal, so many mixed emotions, because I'd literally been waiting for years and years to do this. And then suddenly the day came when I had to say goodbye to my friends, my family, my dog, Christy's cats. And I found myself sitting on a plane by myself on a plane to Europe. And it was all down to that one day.
Now, some of those things the leaders were saying really links into our topic for today. Every day is one day nearer. Now, we know that heaven's our home, and every single day we get one day nearer. Now, it's not like we can put a countdown in our phone and just count down each day until we get there, because we don't know when that day is going to be. But we do know each day is one day nearer. And to help us kind of dive into this idea, we're going to read from Romans chapter 8, and Sophia is going to read that for us. So if you have a Bible, that'd be great to get out now and turn to Romans chapter 8. And we're going to read from verse 18 to 27. If you don't have a Bible, there's a Bible tab on this Church Online platform somewhere over near the chat. And it'd be great if you could, maybe it's over there, I don't know. It'd be great if you could read along either way. So we can have it open, not just now, but also when we're off into our small groups later on in Zoom. So Romans chapter 8, verses 18 to 27.
Hi, I'm Sophia, and the Bible reading for today is Romans chapter 8, verse 18 to 27. I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. For the creation was subjected to frustration, not by its own choice, but by the will of the one who subjected it, in hope that the creation itself will be liberated from its bondage to decay and brought into the freedom and glory of the children of God. We know that the whole creation has been groaning, as in the pains of childbirth right up to the present time. Not only so, but we ourselves, who have the first fruits of the Spirit, groan inwardly as we wait eagerly for our adoption to sonship, the redemption of our bodies. For in this we hope we were saved. But hope that is seen is no hope at all. Who hopes for what they already have? But if we hope for what we do not yet have, we wait for it patiently. In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. And he who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for God's people in accordance with the will of God.
Well, thanks for reading that passage for us, Sophia. We have a very special guest today to help us think through this passage together, someone who is very near and dear to my heart and was really easy to schedule on my show. So will you please welcome Andy?
Hey guys!
Nice.
Thanks for having me on your program. It was a little tough to get here, but
That's right.
I made it.
We only scheduled the best and brightest for Youth Online. Now, Andy,
Stu.
we asked some leaders before if they've had something that they've looked forward to. Is there anything that you have looked forward to?
Well, there's been lots of exciting things in my life that I've looked forward to. I feel like most recently was our marriage. That was a thing that took a lot of planning, and so there was a really big lead up to it. So there was a bit of a countdown, not just because it was exciting, but also because there was things that needed to get done by certain times. So that's probably the most recent big thing that I've counted down to and been excited about.
Super. I too was excited about that.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, very good. Didn't make an Instagram countdown though. Felt very proud of myself for not doing that.
Yeah, right.
Look, Andy, there's been exciting things happening in our lives, but also at the moment, there's kind of just a lot of bad news around. When you turn on the TV, I mean, we've had coronavirus kind of dominating the news for months and months now. And then even just recently, we've got all sorts of things happening in the US. It's kind of bad news everywhere you look. How have you been feeling as you've watched that bad news?
Probably like most people, a lot of mixed emotions about things. I think one of the biggest things that I've been feeling is a sense of helplessness and hopelessness. Like helplessness because there's only so much that we can really do in our homes, like already with a lot of emotional and physical disconnection from people. So it feels a little bit like I can see people suffering. What am I going to really do about it, especially from my home? And, you know, if it's something in America, like from all the way over in Australia, what am I going to do about it? So I think a bit of helplessness, but also a bit of hopelessness because with the things that are happening in terms of race relations, like these things seem to happen over and over again. And sometimes it feels like nothing really ever changes. So they're probably the two big emotions that I'm feeling at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess as we look at all the bad stuff that's happening around, there is a helpful reminder that heaven is our home, not this place. And this week, that's why we're looking at every day is one day nearer, because that's kind of our final home we're going to get to. And this is a home for now, but not home forever. So as you look at kind of the hard stuff around and the bad news that's happening, how does Romans chapter 8 help you kind of deal with that and think forward to that home being one day nearer?
Well, Romans 8 is one of those chapters of the Bible where it's just absolutely jam-packed with amazing things to sink our teeth into and let those truths change us. So, yeah, like you can spend so much time talking about Romans chapter 8. I think one of the big things that stands out to me is when it says, thank you, where it says, I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us. And so the ways that I think this helps us is that it shows us that whatever we're experiencing right now, whatever present suffering that we're observing or we're experiencing is nothing. It's not even worth comparing to the future glory that won't just be revealed, but will be revealed in us. It's what God is going to do in us. And so I think that gives us a tremendous amount of hope that whatever we see when we look around at the world, it just pales in comparison to what God has in store for us and in us. So I think that's one of the main ways.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got this present age, and it kind of is hard for a time, but it's not going to be something that lasts forever. How does Romans 8 kind of tell us that God's going to help us get to that time where we get home? Every day is one day nearer, but every day can be pretty hard. So how does God help us? Are we just one day nearer, and so we just kind of grit our teeth and hold on, and one day we'll get to heaven, but until then everything has to kind of be lame and not great? Or is there something else that Romans 8 says to us?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So God is so kind to us that he empathizes with us and tells us that waiting is really, really hard. So he says that creation groans as we wait for that day, and we groan as we wait for that day. So it kind of gives you this image of just like trying to lift up something really, really heavy, and you're like groaning under the weight of it. But God is also so gracious that he helps us in that his Spirit groans in us and alongside us as we wait for that day. But he doesn't just groan in a way that he's like kind of like us in that we're suffering under the weight of these present sufferings, but he groans in a way that actually he intercedes for us to the Father. He prays for us, he pleads our case, he deciphers what's going on in our heart, Romans says, in words that are in groans that are too deep for words. And so it's not like we're here by ourselves and God's just saying grin and bear it. He's actually getting in the mess with us by his Spirit, groaning alongside us, but also in a way that helps us to endure and to wait patiently.
That's really helpful, being able to know that we're not just kind of stuck here, sucking it up as long as we can until we get to heaven. There is good things happening now, even though there's lots of bad news around us. Now, thinking kind of just in your life at the moment, and maybe in the lives of everyone who's watching, what are some of those good things that you can really grab onto as you wait? What can we do with God with us, knowing that heaven's our home, knowing that here is just temporary? What are some of those good things that we can still experience while we hang out in a world full of bad news?
Well, there's heaps of things that God has given us to enjoy and to experience as we wait. Like, I think the gift of relationship, just even the things like good food and time outdoors and all those little things. And I think, at church we've been looking at Ecclesiastes. And so like this week, there's a time for lots of different things. There's a time to dance and a time to mourn and a time to scatter. And there's all these different times. And so God has created all these different things for us to experience and enjoy. But I guess in terms of encouraging us as we wait, I think meeting together is so important. That way we can actually continue to encourage each other to remember that this isn't our home, because I think I am very quick to forget that this world that I'm living in right now will pass away, and that I'm actually made for a better day, as C.S. Lewis says, or made for another world. And so I think meeting together is really important. Encouraging one another, so not just being encouraged, but actively encouraging your mates, I think is really important. And it's also something that gives life a lot of meaning and joy. I think they're just two things that God has given us that we can enjoy, and that will help us wait.
Yeah, for sure. And like so much of that happens at places like church and youth group, and it happens when you log on and you're able to watch this sort of stuff with us and chat later in Zoom. Those things really help get through this life, and not just kind of grin and bear and put up with all of the hardships that happen, but actually really kind of have a vibrant life and have life to the full, it says in John. Life that isn't just about holding on to that final home now that's coming later, but we get to experience that relationship now that we have with God, and as we kind of look forward to the world that's coming. And a bit later, just after this, we're going to sing a song together that talks a bit about that reality that is in heaven, where we're looking forward to that day when we'll be all together with God again. We'll all be in perfect relationship with Him. We'll be relating to one another as we relate to Him. There's no more sickness, no more crying. All that stuff's kind of gone. Now that's coming, but now we don't get that. But we get a little bit of it, don't we? Because Romans 8 says that the Spirit is living in us and helping us wait for that day. And not just wait, but experience some of that relationship then. The only reason we have the Spirit is because we have a relationship with God, and that relationship's just going to get better, more improved, more perfect in heaven. But we get to experience a bit of that now. So we might wrap it up. Thanks for coming on to Youth Online, and we'll see you in the Zoom chat afterwards. But we're going to spend some more time together singing now. And so wherever you are, whatever you're doing, however comfy or uncomfy you are, just sing along if you want. Otherwise, just look at the words and kind of reflect on what it means to be one day nearer every single day to that final home, and how you might live now, knowing that this isn't home, but still knowing that you get to experience a loving relationship with God.
Though the road seems long, I'll never walk alone. And I've got all I need to sing. 'Cause I know you love me, I know you found me, I know you saved me, and your grace will never fail me. And while I'm waiting, I'm not waiting, I know heaven lives in me. And should I suffer long, this is not my home, I know heaven waits for me. Though the night is dark, heaven owns my heart, and I've got all I need to sing. 'Cause I know you love me, I know you found me, I know you saved me, and your grace will never fail me. And while I'm waiting, I'm not waiting, I know heaven lives in me. So I will sing like I will there in the fearless light of glory, where the darkness cannot find me, and your face is all I see. Oh, I will sing like a man with no sickness in my body, like no prison walls can hold me. I will sing like I am free, 'cause I know you love me, I know you found me, I know you saved me, and your grace will never fail me. And while I'm waiting, I'm not waiting, I know heaven lives in me. I'll sing holy, holy, my heart cries holy, as it is in heaven, it is in me. I'll sing holy, holy, my heart cries holy, as it is in heaven, it is in me. I'll sing holy, holy, my heart cries holy, as it is in heaven, it is in me. So I will sing like I will there in the fearless light of glory, where the darkness cannot find me, and your face is all I see. Oh, I will sing like a man with no sickness in my body, like no prison walls can hold me. I will sing like I am free, 'cause I know you love me, I know you found me, I know you saved me, and your grace will never fail me. And while I'm waiting, I I'm waiting, I know heaven lives in me.
Well, thanks for singing along and thanks for being here for Youth Online. Now, Youth Online is not over. We're not done yet. We're going to head into our Zoom small groups as per usual. Now, the link has been emailed to your parents this week, or your leaders will have sent it to you. And P.S., it's actually the same link that we used last week, so if you have that, you'll be okay. If you don't have the link, press the live prayer button and I'll make sure you get it. And we'll all log on to Zoom and I'll see you there in just a hot second. So make sure you click on that link, get on Zoom, we'll do it in our small groups, and we'll finish up after we're done there. Thanks very much for joining us for Youth Online. I'll see you on Zoom.